Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Behind the Mission. It's great to be back here. If you haven't followed our LinkedIn series before, welcome. And to those of you who have been here with us, welcome back. Behind the Mission is where we talk about what it takes, what it's like, and what you might want to do if you wish to work in international development and at the World Bank Group. I'm your host, Srimati Sridhar, and today I'm speaking to 4 World Bank Group recruiters who will share their insights and tips to finding a job here. If you've wondered in the past what you need to do to stand out in your application, what skills are desirable, or how we even go about recruitment, then this episode is for you. Now, before we get started, I do want to encourage those of you that are joining us online to share your questions in the comments section. We do have colleagues that are standing by to answer as many questions as they can. You can also join the conversation online by using the hashtag BehindTheMissionWBG. We look forward to hearing from you. With that, let's get our conversation started here today. I'm joined by Magali Rodriguez Reyes, Mabel Udoh, Rudy Mareño, and Anna Frick. Guys, welcome. It's great to have you here. And a few of you have joined me before, so it's really nice to see you again. I have a question for each one of you to kick things off. And before you answer, just feel free to give the viewers a brief introduction about yourself and what you do at the World Bank Group. So Magali, let me actually start with you and welcome, because this is your first time with us here on Behind the Mission. As a recruiter, tell me, what grabs your interest when you're looking at potential candidates?
Thanks, Ree, for this introduction and for this invitation of joining this wonderful group of recruiters. I'm very excited to talk about what is needed for you to get a job at the World Bank. I am from Mexico. I have been in the US for 17 years, 15 years working at the World Bank in human resources. I am currently the recruiter for Africa, for the whole continent, and I'm very excited. I have learned a lot about the regions, and I want people to be passionate and to really want to work in development. What we're looking for is for people that believe in our mission and our vision, that really want to travel the world helping people to improve their lives. We are looking for people that have also invested in their skills, in their studies. They have put the time, but also that they want to share their knowledge and continue updating their skills. We want people that enjoy working with a diverse environment in a multilateral, with multicultural people all around. We are very lucky to every day learn from different mindsets, but also from people that are really brilliant in the different sectors of the bank. We have, as you know, the Human Development Practice Group, we have the Sustainable Development, we have Finance, we have Social Protection, and this is very important, that you really want to be in every region of the world and you want to improve the life of everybody. If you are an engineer and want to work in infrastructure, that's what we're looking for. It will be also incredible if you are able to understand the projects of the bank, and if you have read about our projects. It's so rich, all the information we have in our website. So I will really hope that the people that apply for positions in the bank are passionate about our mission, our vision, but that also have invested in learning another language, so they are able to be mobile in another regions, that know the sectors we work in, and that after COVID, they are more than fun to help people all over the world to get healthy, but also to put the economy again in where it has to be, because this pandemic has really touched everybody and we all need to help in this. Thank you so much, Sri.
Thank you so much, Magali, and it's really a pleasure to have you here with us today. Let's turn to learning a little bit more about the International Finance Corporation. Now, Mabel, you are a senior recruiter there. So how is the IFC different from the World Bank? And tell us a little bit more about how to navigate the career search at the IFC.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Sri. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. My name is Mabel Udoh, and I'm a senior recruiter at IFC. I joined IFC about 2 years ago, but prior to IFC, I worked in the private sector for about 14 years in recruiting roles with General Electric and Puma Energy, respectively. I am Nigerian, and I am based here in IFC HQ in Washington, D.C. Sri, before I answer your question, I would like to start with a little information about the World Bank Group. So the World Bank Group has over 30,000 staff from more than 170 countries, spread across over 130 country offices around the world. The group consists of about 5 different institutions. You know, you have the IBRD, which is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. You have IDA, International Development Association, and both are also known as the World Bank. And IFC is the International Finance Corporation, and there is also MIGA and ICSID. And the primary goal of the World Bank is to reduce extreme poverty and boost shared prosperity. Now, the difference between IBRD and IFC is that IBRD offers technical assistance and loans and grants to governments of middle income and low income countries. For example, technical assistance might involve reforming and improving health, infrastructure, education sectors. Typical example is the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, the World Bank is currently working to support vaccine rollout in development countries. IFC, on the other hand, is the largest global development institution focused on the private sector in developing countries. So IFC works to promote private sector investment by both foreign and local investors using our capital, expertise, and influence to create markets and opportunities in developing countries. IFC also continues to, design, implement new solutions to address the world's biggest development challenges, again, such as COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, fragility and conflict, and gender equality, and others. I would like to probably just go a little bit further to just mention a few roles that are typical roles in IBRD and IFC. So in IBRD, you would have roles like, economist or specialist in education, health, energy, transport, infrastructure, while IFC hires professionals with background in financial institution, infrastructure, healthcare, agribusiness, engineering, environmentalist, industry specialist in energy, power, transport. So yes, it is International Finance Corporation, but we do hire engineers as well if you're a specialist. But may I also add that both organizations also hire into corporate functions such as HR, legal, accounting, communication, and IT.
Thank you so much, Mabel. I think knowing these differences can really help people applying be a bit more intentional in their job search, right? But what are the different ways that you can actually get your foot in the door? So Rudy, this is where I'd like to now come to you, because there is no shortage of ways to find a job at the World Bank Group. So tell us a little bit more about how people can gain entry here.
Hey, thank you, Shrew. And it's great to be here, and glad to hear Mabel's energy beforehand, explain about the two organizations. A little bit about myself first. Rudy Perecin Mareño. I'm originally from Brazil. I've been with IFC for about 3 years now. But before then, I've always been involved in international recruitment, mostly here in Washington, D.C. In terms of the ways people can join the World Bank Group, I would say there's really 4 ways. If you think about it. The first one being internships, right? And this is more targeted to current students, right? And there's more than one internship program. So I encourage everyone that's watching that's currently a student to do their research on that. There's a bank internship program, for instance. IFC has a global internship program, which we have as well during different times of the year. So yes, take a look at that research. Secondly, programs, and all institutions have their own specialized program too, through which they tend to recruit people. So for example, a very well-known program is the Young Professionals program. It's really our flagship program. Many people apply to that. But apart from that, there's many other programs that people can apply to and join as a fellow and as any other. So again, do your research there and look for those programs that tend to apply for you. This would be mostly for, I would say, junior professionals, people that have recently graduated, maybe have a few years of experience. Look at those programs. That could be for you. A third way could be through consultancies, right? So, for example, we have short-term consultancies, what we call STCs, and ETCs, which are extended term, which could be a little longer, maybe even up to 2 years, right? And for those, we tend to publish them in different sites, including on LinkedIn. So you may want to find those consultancies there. apply. Sometimes people say it's an easier way to get in because, you join for a short-term consultancy, you do a really good job in the first 3 months, people get to know you, then a full-time position comes about and you apply, and since people already know you, they know the quality of your work, you can get in. And finally, it's a staff position, right? And every year, there's hundreds of staff positions that open up at all institutions for the World Bank Group. So look to apply for those, and those will be published on our website. So yes, I would say 4 main doors, and within those doors, look at what best fits you.
Thanks so much, Rudy. A lot of different opportunities then for people to really get their foot in the door. Finally, to round out this first section, Anna, let me now come to you. With World Bank Group staff located in over 130 offices around the world, where would you say that you're primarily looking to hire in the future? And is it more important to work out in the field as opposed to headquarters here in Washington, D.C.?
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be back. And I'll start with introducing myself. So I started my career actually at the IFC, where Rudy and Mabel are now working. So I joined in 2013 and I came from London, where I had worked for 9 years, mostly with PwC. And now I'm a recruiter for IBRD and I cover Asia. And I have got a master's degree from Lund University in Sweden, where I'm from. And I've also had the opportunity to do Erasmus exchange programs in Barcelona and in Cologne. So over to your question now. So we are looking to increasingly hire staff that are based closer to our clients, i.e. that are based in developing countries or the field, as we also call it. And we want to particularly increase the number of staff in fragile states. So that's countries with institutional and social fragility, and also countries affected by violent conflict. So examples of those countries would be Venezuela, Solomon Islands, Cameroon, and Yemen. And as a staff member, you can expect to do several assignments in the field or in developing countries.
Thank you so much, Anna. I mean, I think it's a good tip, right? To, those that are applying, keep an open mind and look for opportunities perhaps beyond the comfort zone of where you're living. If you're just joining us, welcome everyone. You're watching Behind the Mission, where today I'm speaking with 4 recruiters from the World Bank and the International Finance Corporation on how best to find a job at the World Bank Group. I'm here with Rudy Mareño, Mabel, Udoh, Magali Rodriguez Reyes, and Anna Frick. So thank you all so much for joining me. And I also want to thank our online audience for tuning in. And in fact, I wanted to take this moment now to ask our panelists some questions that we've been getting from our online audience. We have a lot of people that want to know more about what makes for a successful, compelling application. So what stands out when you're looking at someone's resume, and relatedly, what might be the first thing that you even think to look for when you have someone's resume open? So who would like to take this question?
Sure, I can take that.
Thanks, Rudy.
Yeah, so we do review many, I would say probably hundreds of resumes every week. And I think that makes our eyes very sharp to what we're looking for a resume. And really reading the resume is the first stop, right? If you can make it through that first stage, most likely you'll make it through an interview. But when I look at a resume, I have very little time, obviously. So I want to focus on finding what this candidate has that matches the terms of reference right away from the very start. So if I can see it at the very top, like a summary, usually that's really good. And the top 3 things that I'll look for would be, education. Do they have the educational requirements? If we're asking for a master's degree, that's what we want, right? If we're asking for a bachelor's, most likely that's what we're seeking for. The years of experience, right? So I'll kind of quickly see, but if you summarize it for me, you say I have 7 to 10 years of experience, and we're looking for 7 to 10 years of experience. Great, I already know this would be a match. The languages, usually it's one of those questions that either you have it or you don't. So state it right away on top so I can see that, and then if I see this on top, then I'll pay more attention on the rest of the resume. So yeah, so that's what I look for in a resume.
That's really good to know, Rudy. Thank you. And Perhaps you can also tackle this next question. This came from Momar, who says that he submitted 4 applications. 1 was rejected, 1 is still in interview mode. So what is the sequence for the recruitment process? Is there a notification when people apply that they have been longlisted and then shortlisted? He would really appreciate some clarification on this matter.
Yeah, and I can relate to that question, Momar. Thank you. So think of it this way. Every time you submit an application, it's going to be reviewed by different people, right? It could be the case that the position you applied, the first one, the hiring team that's reviewing that, they're very quick and they've reviewed all the applications. Maybe there weren't that many, and then you'll be quickly rejected. On the other, maybe on the second application that you've applied, one more, maybe it's another team that has people in different continents, even like someone in Asia, someone in Europe, in Africa. Sometimes that takes a little longer for reviewing, and you won't receive an automatic notification, for instance, if you're not selected for an interview right away, because you may still be called for an interview even afterwards. So let's say we'll call 3 or 4 people for an interview, but we don't select one of them. We may still go back to that list, to the original list, and call. So Momar, that's the reason you'll see you're still in review mode, because it does take some time. When you receive a notification will be when we've actually selected someone, sent an offer, and that offer has been accepted, and that takes some time. So my recommendation is be patient. You may still be called at any time, any moment. So yeah, don't feel like you have to go back and take a look at what's going on now. Just apply and be calm and wait.
Thanks so much, Rudy. So patience is really key, and it helps to kind of keep the faith there. Thank you so much for answering those online questions. And, guys, keep the questions coming. I also want to thank our colleagues behind the scenes who are working hard to answer your questions right now. But before we get to the end of the program, I do want to now segue to our myth-busting section. Now, if you remember, we do this as part of every Behind the Mission episode to really gauge from our experts here what's fact and what's fiction when it comes to applying for a job here. So, guys, you can react to any one of these myths, but let's get started with myth number 1, which says that you have to know someone to work here. Now, the answer to this seems a little obvious for me, but let's have one of you put this myth to rest. Who wants to take this one?
Sri, I can take that. Because so the answer is no. You do not need to know someone at the bank to get a job at the World Bank Group. And a typical example is myself. I mean, I didn't know anyone at the World Bank Group when I got called, and it was just via LinkedIn. I got a message via LinkedIn saying, hey, there's a role here at IFC. Is it something you'll be interested in? And then the recruiter also shared the job description for me to review and go through. So my advice would be make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date, because mine was very much up to date. And then the recruiter could see that I had the skill set that matched the role they were looking to fill, which is the role I'm currently in. So I didn't know anyone. I just got poached on LinkedIn and I accepted the invitation and I interviewed. And I'm here today and I got the job. So no, you don't need to know someone at all.
You heard it here. Thank you, Mabel. Now, myth number 2 says that only people with international development experience will stand out. Is this true or false, guys?
I can take that. That is false. So international development experience is not needed for all jobs, and especially not at entry level. So it all depends on the job. So read that very carefully when you're looking for jobs. I mean, for example, for the job I applied for, it was not a must. And so I want to highlight and promote one of our new programs. It's called Junior Professional Associates Program. So it's a new program that we launched a few months ago. So the intent of this program is to bring highly motivated young talent with strong research and analytical skills into our organization. And there's 3 eligibility criteria. So you need to be 28 years or younger, you need to have a bachelor's degree, and you need to be fluent in English. So no development experience needed there. It might be a plus for certain jobs, but and the key attributes of this program is that you are hired on a 2-year non-renewable contract, and it's called an ETC, extended term consultancy contract that Rudy was referring to earlier. It's one of the jobs you can get to get a foot in the door. And these jobs can be based in the country offices or in HQ, which is Washington, D.C., where we are actually all based. And so if this sounds of interest to you and eligibility criteria applies to you, please do check out our website and do apply. So again, it's JPA, Junior Professional Associates Program. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. I can see that being very popular, so I hope people do check that out. And finally, myth number 3 says that to have a successful career at the World Bank Group, you have to work out in the field. Now, we did touch upon this a bit earlier, but who wants to confirm this for us?
I would like to take that, Ree. I think it's a great opportunity for everybody to have the experience to go to every region at the World Bank. It will help not only your career, but your development. And it will give you the opportunity to really see where you are needed and to really know what you're doing, because we are a knowledge bank. So obviously it will be great for your career to be able to be in all the regions of the bank and to be mobile. It's important for you to know that being in the HQ, it's good, but having the opportunity to travel the world, helping the development world in the different sectors, it's even more important. I think that people now have understand that it's not only a great opportunity, but it's also a very important factor for your development and to help the people that have been through the worst pandemic. I mean, this global pandemic has affected us all, and we have talked about it. And as Rudy said, it's important for you to be able to work in the private sector, in the public sector, and to be able to tackle, as Anna and Mabel said, all the sectors of the bank, but to have specific skills. You have to really focus in the skills you have to really make a difference. I mean, I love what IFC have been doing about careers with impact. I think that the World Bank has really made a difference in every people's world. So now we have the Africa recruitment drive. There are 32 positions in Africa West, in the countries that really the help is needed in everything, in infrastructure, in economy, in procurement, in environment. Every sector is there. These 32 positions are local positions, and we love to have the incredible Africa talent. I mean, we are focusing in really giving the opportunity of the people that know and suffer through all this to really help each other and to learn from them. So when we do this type of recruitment drives, is really to attract not only the most qualified people, but that the people that have the accountability for results, that have the integrity, the resilience, the emotional intelligence, that want to really collaborate, influence, and across units, geographies, and sectors. I'm very passionate about it. I really love working in the World Bank. I think that being all together, I have learned more in the last 15 years of my life than ever. I was a professor in the university, and I have the opportunity to learn from young people, but being in this multicultural environment and with the most brilliant brains that we have talked about, it gives you all these opportunities. So make this decision to really join this incredible organization that will give you the opportunity to travel the world and make a difference and have a career with impact. I'm copying the IFC. Thank you.
Thanks, Magali. I really love that passion and energy. I mean, it is really so important. Ladies, thanks for busting a few of those myths for us. And I hope for those that are tuning in, you now have a better sense of what's true and what's false when it comes to going through the motions of researching and applying for jobs here. But Anna, Mabel, Rudy, Magali, before I let the 4 of you go, I do have one last question for you. If you were looking for a job at the World Bank Group, how would you prepare? And for folks online, this is where I'd grab that pen and paper. But Anna, I'm going to start with you. What are your tips?
Thank you. I would say a great way to get to know the World Bank Group and what we do and how we do things and and learn more about us would be to follow us on social media. So for example, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, because it's you can get this information in bite-sized information in an easy to digest way, I think. And you can follow specific regions as well. You can follow specific areas that might be of interest to you as well. So please do so. And then the second point, I think Rudy might have mentioned it, but just to reiterate what Rudy, you were saying, is that not our consultancy jobs are not posted on our career site at the moment. So one way to find out about some of them would be to check out our jobs postings on LinkedIn. We post a mix of jobs that are already on our career site, so jobs that need a bit more attention, and also STC job, or short-term consultancy or short-term temporary jobs. So those are my two tips. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. And I think very important note about LinkedIn to look for job postings, because people might not know that. Mabel, let me now go next to you. What are your tips and advice?
Thanks, Sri. And I think I would just, as a follow-up to what Anna said about studying about what we do, I would like to overemphasize the fact that you need to actually learn about what we do, our mission, prepare for your interviews. You know, I can tell you how many times I've walked into an interview room and the candidate was not prepared when we ask, what is our mission? What do we do? And they have no clue. So prepare, you know, go to our website, read about what we're doing, follow the industry trends. So let's say you're interested in infrastructure, TMT. What is IFC or World Bank doing within that space? Follow the trend, look up projects. If you're interested in working in Mexico, what are we currently doing there? Read it up so that when you come into the interview, you can actually give insights into what we do. And it actually gives you a competitive advantage over other people that are applying for the first job. So study, read it up. What do we do?
And I think to what we've kind of said earlier today, be passionate, right? Because having that passion will show when you are applying for whatever job that you're looking to get. Thanks, Mabel. Rudy, let me now come to you.
Okay, so I'm actually thinking back on the question posed by Momer, and I was thinking, you know, he applied for more than one role, and that's okay. It's good to apply for more than one role if you feel qualified to do so. But maybe as my advice, I would try to focus more on quality over quantity, right? So apply for those positions that you're highly qualified for. Make sure you tailor your CV to the position. Make sure you do your research so that, you know, when you apply, it tells that you're a perfect match for it, right? So yes, quality over quantity, I would say. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Rudy. I think that's a message you can never emphasize too much. Quality over quantity always. And finally, Magali, let me turn to you.
Yes, I will add to what Anna, Rudy, and Mabel said, that it's very important to share your story, to share your experiences, your experience, to focus on your achievements. I mean, I remember this video of the bank, of the people working, why they joined the bank, and they were talking that they come from fragile states and conflict states, and why seeing the emergency in their countries and not having access to the most common things that you will have in the development world, wanted them to make a difference, wanted them to join the bank, to work in the development world. So I will say that you have to share your story. You have to know how to tell your story with numbers, with experiences, and let people know that you are able to do the work and that you really know what you're talking about. What Mabel said, and Rudy, it's very important. Research about the projects, the sectors, the regions of the bank. Be clear about what you want, but also have an understanding of the scope of work of the World Bank, so you're able to really tailor your application and go point by point to the job description. Give examples when it says roles and responsibilities, selection criteria in your cover letter, focusing what it's really asking the job. Give examples. That will be my tips for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magali. I mean, all four of you have given such excellent tips here today, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me on Behind the Mission. You know, we're always hearing from folks on how they can get a job at our organization and what they should be doing to stand out. So I really hope that this conversation has helped those interested in working for us have a better handle of how to now go about the job search. And of course, I want to extend a big thanks to you, our online audience, for joining us here today. It's for you that we have these conversations, and we hope that it's inspired you to join us in our work to end poverty. And please let us know in the comments what you're interested in learning about when it comes to working with us here at the World Bank Group. Now, you can continue to follow along using the hashtag BehindTheMissionWBG, and be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and also Twitter. You can always check the latest career openings on our job site. And if you came late to the conversation or you simply want to watch it back at your leisure, you can also do so on LinkedIn or on World Bank Live. That's live.worldbank.org. Thanks again for being here with us. I'm Srimati Sridhar, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.